Today on Behind the Strength, we're excited to welcome Ms. Anisha Pestonji Goel, the co-founder and director of the Power Learning Center, a space transforming education and empowering individuals through every walk of life. Welcome to Behind the Strength.
Thank you so much for having me.
Anisha, when did you first feel the need, or what was the catalyst in starting, or even the birth story of the Power Learning Center?
So my son was a late talker.
Okay.
And we went for speech therapy, and then we got to know what was occupational therapy. And then through the years he got better with therapy, but it came to a point where he said, I don't want to go there anymore. So as a mom, when you know your child needs it and he doesn't want to go because a lot of the places are very clinical and not child friendly, I took a call and I said, okay, let me create something that will not only welcome him but a lot of other kids who might have a similar story, who don't want to go to a clinical setup, because as we know today, sensory processing disorder and these kind of difficulties are almost like 1 in 7, they say now.
Absolutely, yes.
So creating a safe environment where the child and the parent both feel welcomed, the learning will only benefit.
Absolutely. In fact, I've been to your center. I have seen it. It's beautiful, and it is not only welcoming. I feel even your faculty is extremely warm, and they function very well with the children. And that's something very endearing to even see or even to have experienced personally.
Yes.
What does power learning mean to you?
So the thing is that, therapy is such a heavy word.
Right.
And when any parent gets told by a school or notices by a pediatrician or something, therapy, the word is, it puts you down. So I just said, it's just a form of learning, and it's just empowering the child. So why do we need to put that kind of word in the environment?
Right.
And this is definitely the place to empower both children and parents.
Precisely.
So that's where I came up with the name.
No, in fact, that's right, because you hear the word therapy or you get called in, I don't think the child understands it. It's more the parent who goes through the stress. So how do you manage the stress on the parental end is more important, because the child is going to go with the flow.
So it's both, right? For older kids, it's the stress of, knowing you need therapy.
Right.
For the younger ones, it's the parents.
Precisely.
Yeah, so when they come in, of course, it's crazy, but I take in every first call that comes into my center.
Right.
Because, I want the parent to feel comfortable coming into the space.
Right.
And I want to tell them that they are not alone. And it's not something that, for some children it's longer, but for others it can be just a 3-6 month fix.
Exactly.
And this is something like, you can say like it's polishing a diamond.
That's lovely.
So, that little polish will just like let them find like learning in a school or dealing with peers or social pressures so much easier than what they would be facing, say, if they had certain difficulties.
Do you think occupational therapy, there have been people use these words. A lot of people do not understand them. I mean, of course, the professionals do. There are some people, this word has not even reached the term.
True.
And there were times earlier where I felt that children of probably the previous generations needed something like this. But
for me, sure. Like,
there are so many issues.
Yes. So, I mean, now I realize it, but I definitely had like focus issues in a class of 50. And it wasn't that, my learning was affected. It was just that environment was not conducive to the way I learn. So of course there was no occupational therapy, and then instead of doing occupational therapy, what do parents do? They'll put one tuition, and then they'll say group tuition and individual tuition, and just for the academic pressure. But the problem is not the academic, right?
It's wholesome.
Yeah, it's the focus and the way the child is not able to learn in that environment. It may be too stimulating. So over time, of course, as adults we have gone
Right.
and moved ahead. But definitely in today's generation, there's no need to, have to go through that stress.
All of that, yes.
Because, say I got over it or I didn't find it, but in today's generation, with social media and everything,
There's so much going on. There's so much activity.
There's so much pressure anyway.
Pressure of the activity.
Peer pressure.
Yes, precisely.
Academic pressure. Though in the smaller environments, we do, say a smaller environment is good for our kids, but at the same time, a smaller environment also, doesn't let them
breathe.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, that way it just helps.
Absolutely. In fact, it's we were having this conversation, you and I said it's always nice where a child finds their pond and
Yes.
they fit in the right pond.
Absolutely.
Okay. Who is Anisha outside the Power Learning Center? Because we know you as this representative of this lovely transformative space that you've created. Who are you outside of it?
So I'm a very simple person. Other than Power Learning, you would not see me on social media at all.
Yes, I get that.
So, this space and the work that I'm doing just calls for this. So, yeah, I am shy. And I'm like, I love being a mom to my boys. I'm a homemaker. And I'm just like this disciplined person who likes to go and exercise in the morning, get to work, get my children going, and that's it.
That's wholesome to, it's basically what gives you a lovely smile at the end of the day. What makes you happy is your
Absolutely.
strength, let's put it that way. Do you think traditional education and the Power Learning Center, if required, go hand in hand? Or is it something disconnected from it? Because according to me, it goes hand in hand. It is parallel. But of course, coming from you as...
So, education, schooling is different. The Power Learning Center, of course, the primary goal is to help children along with schooling.
Right.
But there are certain children who are not able to go into regular schooling.
Okay.
And, we also empower like the NIOS system, which is
Right.
so teach them to, get a degree, even though you're not able to go to school. So even that, the child has a way to at least educate and learn.
That's
if
empowering.
They can't, when they can't, handle the, the social pressure of school.
Absolutely. In fact, that is something that I think is the requirement of the day, because what you're talking about could also lead to a lot of bullying in school, which is
Absolutely.
not the best for any child to kind of flourish in.
Absolutely.
What has been the toughest part of turning your business into, your passion into a business?
So honestly, I can't say anything's been tough. Like, the tough part is seeing, parents have gone through years of therapy and not seen success. That's tough for me to see them not, have got the right intervention.
Yeah.
Or even today when I have, children coming from out of station to me for a brief time, and then the parents go back and say they were so happy when they were in Bombay, what has happened to my child?
Right.
So that's the tough part, saying that our country is not yet understanding the need, or the clinical way of doing things may not be something
Acceptable to some people.
Or the children need more. We need to understand that we are in the
Yes.
end working with a child. I understand that is therapy, but it's also the mind, it's also the space, it's also the welcoming environment where they themselves don't feel threatened, they
Correct.
don't first come in with a negative connotation that there is something wrong with me, and
Right.
that is why I'm in this space. So creating that warm and welcoming environment is the first step.
Right.
And of course, getting professionals to be responsible,
Right.
to have goals, to be accountable for a child's life is very important.
Absolutely. In fact, that was going to be, my next, it's like a next question to you is, how do you break this myth or a taboo? It's very difficult, as you just mentioned, to kind of explain to the parents because they'll feel, oh, we have a deficiency. How do you break the myth of a deficiency to them, that it's not deficient?
No, I have this question asked to me so many times.
I'm sure.
What did I do wrong? So firstly,
Yes.
the parents don't need to be harsh on themselves. Somewhere a child is born with a certain difficulty, and maybe over the years, at some point of time, if it goes untreated, and with the social pressure or with the academic pressure, the child behaves in certain ways that they can't handle the situation.
Correct.
So it's not something that, there are, like I said, there are children with diagnosis who need therapy for longer and, continued support. But there are other children who just, like I said, need therapy for a bit to balance their sensory processing disorders, and then they are up and, about.
Absolutely.
In like flood.
The Power Learning Center is empowering in many domains,
Yes.
whether it is occupational, sensory, even for nutrition.
Yeah, so we have
Speech.
feeding,
Yes.
speech, and we have education. So basically, we are a multidisciplinary center.
Precisely,
Where, any kind of need can be helped. Whatever the child needs, we can help them. And we often see that, if a child does have a sensory processing disorder, it can lead to picky eating.
Correct.
So in those situations, it just helps, dealing with both the things. Because if you went and did, like, say, food therapy without doing occupational therapy, if the body didn't desensitize itself, even the food wouldn't work. So you often see that there may be like two issues running parallel, and it just becomes easier for the parent or the child to deal with it.
Of course. Do you think that when a parent comes to you for, say, nutrition or, the picky eating, for instance, is it a purely physical approach that you follow, or is it also, as you said, occupational? Is it also a psychological kind of hand holding that is required?
So it can be it can be psychological for older kids who've had sensory issues and not eaten it for years.
Right.
So they can have a sensory, and it can become psychological because they've not eaten. So then we have to train them in those ways.
Exactly.
There are certain kids who have like motor control issues where, coordinating how to bite, how to chew, how to move the food is an issue. So they can have those kind of issues. And the most common, of course, are the sensory issues, where, you have some kind of sensory processing happening, and that will, like, they won't accept mixed textures, or they won't accept, like, say, a vegetable as a mix with a dal and roti, and so those are the things. But these are very fixable problems, and like I said, nutrition, all these are so important in today's
Correct.
day and time.
Right, absolutely.
The schools are longer today.
Yes, my God, yes.
And as parents, we do say that we don't put pressure on them, but I think all Indian parents have a certain mentality.
Absolutely.
So we do push them in ABC domains. So yeah, food is a very important
Absolutely.
domain to deal.
It plays a very imperative role in their development, and day-to-day handling of situations kind of changes if they have the right nutrition.
Absolutely.
How do you see the Power Learning Center in the next 10 years? How do you see it growing and expanding? And what's your vision, if I might ask?
So I don't have a vision. It's like this whole vision is, I think, just come about somewhere. I feel like God wanted me to do this, so it's happened. So we started about 2 years ago, and we started in Juhu because I stay in Juhu, and then we got so many people coming in from Kandivali, Borivali, Goregaon, all the distance. So it's the people who pulled me and made me open a center in a year and a half. So where I go is where people want me to come. It's not, it's... there's a very emotional side to how I do it.
Right.
It's not like, okay, these are my numbers and this is the game that I'm playing. It's like wherever, if
It's like your calling.
Yeah, it's like my calling. If I have to reach somewhere, I will reach.
Absolutely.
I had to start something. I mean, I also get so surprised when I started the first power learning in 45 days. I don't know how myself, I don't know how I got the therapist. I don't know. It was just like this piece of puzzle which was like the pieces were separate and it was just waiting to be fixed.
Yes.
And it just came together. So where we go will be, wherever we have the love and, wherever they want us.
That's beautiful. In fact, the fact that you're doing something like this, because in the older generation, even our generation, it is thought of, something fancy. It is not given the respect or the understanding. Respect, of course, will be there, but the understanding is seriously not there as to it's just not fancy.
No,
it is so imperative.
Yeah, there are, unfortunately, with the stress of today's times,
Yes.
on parents, on relationships,
Absolutely.
on everything, there's so many skeletons in so many closets.
Absolutely.
That one way or another, psychologically it can affect the child. And, it's tough. There are so many situations. We've had COVID. People have lost their loved ones in COVID. Like I have a mother who comes to me with her son has autism. She lost both her husband and father-in-law in COVID. So there are like these tough situations, which people have to deal with.
Absolutely.
And it's not fancy at all. Like I'm as fancy as I am right now. That's as fancy as I can get. But otherwise, it's all real. It's everyone just has that space that you need that love and affection, so it's all real.
Absolutely. What you're doing is not easy, because if you have to deal with children who are so beautiful to begin with, and then you're dealing with some sort of a trauma or some sort of anything in the day, it gets tough. It's emotionally draining, mentally sometimes.
It does. I mean, when I started, I have to say that it was very tough on me.
Yes.
Because I did not know how to deal with so much. You don't understand how much there is out there in the world till you get into a space.
Absolutely.
So it was difficult for me, but it's like I said, how did I get empowered? It's the kids, like they are so innocent, that little love of mine, just gives them a smile. Even if a child can't talk, if I'll say hello to them, they will give me that smile, they will give me that affection. And I think that is for me the trophy of my day.
That's how you get over any tough situation. That is the goal at the end of the day, isn't it? Yeah. What does strength mean to you as an innovator? Because I find you an innovator in this space. So, what does it really mean to you at the end of the day? Who is Anisha? Synonymous with strength? How does it feel?
So, like I said, everybody is strong in spaces, everybody is weak. I have my weak moments, and like I said, I have my strong moments. And strength for me, like I said, I get it from the children, I get it from the work I do, I get it from the families who believe in me, I get it from the mothers who blindly trust me and said, Anisha, you give us strength, you give us hope, you've done it, we can do it. That for me, that is what it is, helping. I have to be the stronger one, because someone who's come to me, like God has given me the inherent strength. Like I have got it. I've been able to deal with situations somebody, might not have the same strength. So I have to help them with, sharing my strength and said, you can do it,
You're hand-holding them across that little...
hand-holding it and also telling them you have to be strong for your child. It may be difficult for you, seeing your child in a difficult situation, but, the only way your child will get over this if you are strong.
That's right. That by itself is inspiring, Anisha. That's really, really, really inspiring. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much.
I hope that the Power Learning Center grows leaps and bounds and your calling is even further. And it's not only in Bombay, and it's way beyond Bombay. And we move much forward with your vision that you have for every child.
Thank you
so much, Anisha. Thank you.